The sky over the outer colony of Varel 7 was dark and full of storm. Wind roared through the rocky hills, and lightning flashed far in the distance. Inside a quiet wooden home, a human man sat beside a glowing hearth. His name was Aaron. He was tall, with kind eyes, strong hands, and a calm voice. Most days, he farmed vegetables and traded meat at the outpost market. He looked like a simple man. No one suspected who he really was. His wife, Queen Zelia of the Varelian Empire, stood near the window. She was tall and graceful, with smooth silver skin and glowing eyes like polished crystal. Once, she was feared across the stars. Now she wore a long dress, her warrior armor locked away. The empire had fallen. She had chosen peace. She had chosen Aaron, but peace was a fragile thing. From outside came a sharp whistle. Not wind, a coded signal. Zelia moved fast. She crossed the room and grabbed her hand blade from behind a shelf. Aaron stood slowly, watching her. "They're here," she whispered. "How many?" "Too many," the front door rattled. Then came a voice, deep, cold, full of command. "Open the door, traitor queen. Your time is over." Zelia's breath caught. She turned toward Aaron, but he was already walking past her. He opened the door without fear. Outside stood 6 armored Varelian soldiers. Black helmets, red crests. Their rifles glowed with plasma heat. Behind them, a tall figure stepped forward. "General Maltran, Zelia's cousin." "Zelia," Maltran said. "You left your people for this human, for dirt and firewood. You've shamed your bloodline, but I offer you a way to fix it. Come home. Leave the human." Aaron said nothing. Zelia stepped outside. Her hand was tight on the blade at her waist. "I chose him," she said. "I still choose him." Maltran's voice turned cold. "Then you both die." He raised his hand. The soldiers aimed their rifles, but before they could fire, something happened. Aaron stepped forward. His hands moved calmly to the firewood rack by the door. From behind the stacked logs, he pulled something long and wrapped in cloth. Zelia froze. She hadn't seen that bundle in years. She thought it was gone. Aaron unwrapped it slowly. Steel glinted in the firelight. A sword, long, ancient, not human-made. Its silver edge shimmered with strange symbols that shifted like smoke. The soldiers blinked. Even Maltran took a step back. "You're not just a farmer," he said. Aaron looked at the blade. "I was," he said simply. "Before I met her." He turned toward Zelia. "Go inside. You don't need to see this." But she didn't move. She whispered, "That sword, it only answers to warriors with a soul marked by fire." "I know." The soldiers moved forward, trying to flank them. Then Aaron moved, faster than human eyes should allow. The sword danced in his hand. One slash, and the nearest soldier fell, armor torn in half. The others screamed, firing their rifles, but Aaron spun, dodging plasma bolts like he had trained for years. Like war was part of him. 3 more fell. 1 soldier tried to run. Aaron didn't chase. He simply lifted his blade, and lightning sparked across the sky. The sword hummed like it was alive. The soldier collapsed without a scream. Maltran stared in horror. What are you?" Aaron's eyes glowed softly. "I was a soldier," he said. "Long before Earth was ever known to your kind. I was sent here to hide, to rest, but I found her. And for her, I would become a soldier again." Maltran screamed in rage and charged forward with his energy blade. Zelia stepped between them, but Aaron reached out and gently pulled her behind him. He met. Maltran's charge. Sparks filled the night as blade met blade. The 2 warriors moved like lightning and thunder. But Maltran was too proud, too loud. Aaron's style was calm, clean. Each strike had purpose. Within seconds, Maltran was on his knees. "Kill me," he spat. Aaron looked to Zelia. She shook her head. "He's my blood. Let him live with his shame. Aaron lowered his sword. Maltron crawled away, blood dripping from his hand. The few soldiers who still stood helped him escape into the dark. The storm rolled on. Inside, Zelia sat beside the fire again. Her hands shook. You hid that sword from me all these years. I wanted peace, Aaron said. With you. She looked at him, truly looked. And now? He set the sword gently by the door. Now I remember what I am, if war comes. I won't run. Outside, in the hills beyond, lights began to blink. Dozens of them. More ships were coming. Not just soldiers, something worse, something ancient. Aaron didn't sleep that night. He sat by the door, sharpening his sword with a flat black stone. Each slow scrape echoed in the small house. Outside, the wind carried the distant sound of ship engines. Not one, many. Zelia stood behind him, arms crossed, staring at the fire. Her voice was quiet. They're calling in the old guard, my family's ancient army, trained in the temple of Corel, before the Empire even reached the stars. They'll come for you, Aaron said without turning. They'll come for both of us, she nodded. We need help. There's no time to send for it. She stepped closer and touched his shoulder. Then we make our stand here, together. He looked at her, his face softening. Are you ready for war again? I never forgot it, she whispered. I only chose love. That morning, before the sun rose, they worked in silence. Zelia unlocked a hidden chest beneath the floorboards. Inside was her armor, black and silver, shaped to her body like a second skin. Ancient and beautiful. She hadn't worn it in years. As she strapped it on, her face changed. She looked stronger, colder, but her eyes still warmed when she looked at Aaron. He walked the edge of the farm, setting traps, old tech, pressure mines, and EMP darts buried under dirt and stone. He set up mirrors and solar beams, charged by the rising sun. His hands moved like a man who had done this 1,000 times before. The sun climbed the sky. Then they came. Ships thundered down from the clouds, 12 in total. All black, all marked with red symbols from Zelia's bloodline. The old guard. They landed just outside the farm's border. From one ship stepped a tall woman, with gold lines on her face and 2 long braids over her armor. Her eyes were sharp, and her voice carried across the fields like a blade. Queen Zelia, your betrayal of the Empire is known. You will surrender now, or we take your head and burn this land. Zelia stepped forward, helmet under her arm. You used to serve honor. Now you serve fear. The woman smiled. I served the Empire. You were a queen. Now you're just a farmer's wife. Aaron stepped up beside her. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. The sword in his hand gleamed in the sunlight. The soldiers saw it and paused. One of them muttered, "The blade of Velthorn. That's not supposed to exist anymore." "He's human," another said. "He can't wield it." But the golden-braided commander raised a hand. "He does." She stepped forward, slowly. "I know who you are," she said to Aaron. "You were part of the Soul Vanguard, the last sword-bearer. You vanished after the Wars of Silence." Aaron said nothing. "I read the reports," she said. "You were unstoppable." "I was tired," Aaron replied. "I wanted a life. A real one." She smiled. "Then you chose the wrong woman." "I chose the right one," he said. "But now you leave us no choice." The woman raised her hand and gave the order, "Burn the farm." Flames exploded across the field, but the traps activated. EMP pulses fried targeting systems. Mines blew holes in armored legs. Drones spun out of control and crashed into the soil. Soldiers screamed and scattered, and in the center of the chaos stood Aaron and Zelia. Together, Aaron's blade moved, like light through smoke. Each swing took down an attacker. He was silent, focused. His feet barely touched the ground. Zelia's armor glowed with each strike. Her energy claws ripped through shields, and her kick sent warriors flying. She shouted only once when a soldier came too close to Aaron. "He is mine." She roared. Then she broke the soldier's helmet with a single punch. Smoke rose, dirt burned. And one by one, the elite guard fell. Soon only the commander remained. Her eyes were wide. "You were both legends. Now you live in a wooden house like farmers?" Aaron wiped the blood from his blade. "We still do. Then die as farmers." She reached for a hidden button on her wrist, but Zelia moved first. She hurled a blade sharp, ancient, and silent. It struck the commander's gauntlet, slicing through her wrist control. Then she fell, stunned by the blow. Zelia stood over her. "No more death today. Go back. Tell them what you saw." The woman lay breathing hard, staring at the ruined farm, the traps, the sword, the queen. "I thought humans were weak," she whispered. "They are," Zelia said. "But he isn't just human." Aaron stepped beside her. "Now go." The commander stood slowly. Her army was broken. Her pride was shattered. And yet she nodded and left. The battlefield fell silent. Ash floated in the air. The house was still standing, though the fence was gone and much of the field burned. Aaron and Zelia stood alone. Together. But in the sky, above the clouds, an old signal pulsed. In deep in space, someone else was listening. The next day was quiet. Too quiet. Birds didn't sing. The wind didn't blow. Even the farm animals stayed close to the barn, as if they could sense something wrong in the air. Zelia stood near the ruins of their fence, her armor scratched and stained. She watched the sky, eyes narrowed. Her fingers rested on her side blade, ready for anything. Aaron was on the roof, repairing solar panels with one hand and holding his sword with the other. He didn't speak much, but his eyes were sharp, focused. Something was coming, and it wasn't more soldiers. That afternoon, a strange humming filled the air. It wasn't loud. It was deep, like a low drum inside the earth. The animals froze. Lights flickered inside the house. Even the sword in Aaron's hand began to glow faintly, like it was afraid. Zelia turned to him. "You feel that?" He nodded. "Not just a signal, a presence." "Who?" "I don't know, but it's old." Before they could say more, a crack opened in the sky. Not a ship, not lightning, a rift, torn straight through space. From it came a black ship, silent, huge, shaped like a blade with wings. No markings, no lights, just dark steel and cold shadows. Zelia stepped forward. Her voice was tight. "No. It can't be." Aaron looked at her. "What is it?" "The Silent Lords," she said. "They were wiped out during the Great Cleansing. Or so we thought." "You've seen one before?" "I saw one destroy an entire moon without firing a shot. The ship landed far from the house, near the edge of the mountains. The ground cracked from its weight. A long ramp dropped from beneath it. No one came out, but a voice spoke. It didn't come from a speaker. It entered their minds. "You carry the sword of Velthorn. Return it, or be unmade." Aaron gripped the sword tighter. "They want it." Zelia shook her head. "It's not just the sword. It's you. That blade answers only to one kind of soul. They want you because you awakened it again." More silence. Then movement. 3 figures walked down the ramp. They looked like people, but wrong. Their bodies were tall and thin, with smooth armor that flowed like liquid. Their faces were masks, no eyes, no mouths. Just black glass with pulsing veins of light, and behind them floated something stranger. A sphere, large, glowing with energy. Inside it, shadows moved, watching. Aaron stood at the gate. His voice was calm. "What do you want?" The first figure raised a hand, and the world around them shimmered. The sun dimmed. The wind stopped again. "You should not be," the voice said in their minds. "You were supposed to fall with the others. You are a relic, a danger. You bring balance where there should be silence." Aaron took a step forward. And you are afraid of that? The second figure moved suddenly. One blink, and it stood just a few feet from him. Zelia raised her blade, but the figure turned its head. It didn't attack. It reached out a long hand toward Aaron's sword. The sword burned white. The creature hissed and staggered back. Smoke rose from its hand. You cannot touch it, Aaron said. Because you don't understand it. The glowing sphere behind them pulsed. Then the voice returned. Very well. Then you will be tested. Without warning, the ground cracked open. Stone burst upward, and from the earth came something huge. A construct. Made of black bone and ancient armor. 10 feet tall, 4 arms, a blade in each hand. Its eyes burned with blue flame. It roared loud and shaking the sky, and charged. Zelia leapt first, striking with her claws, but the thing didn't feel pain. It swung and threw her back hard. She hit the barn wall, gasping. Aaron moved in next. Swords sang. The first clash lit up the air. Sparks flew. Metal shrieked. Aaron dodged a massive swing, then slashed the thing's leg. It barely noticed. Strike after strike. They battled across the field. The ground cracked beneath them. Trees fell. Fires sparked from the heat of their weapons. Finally, Aaron jumped high and drove the sword down into the creature's chest. It roared, then froze. And shattered. Ash and bones scattered in the wind. The silent figures didn't move, but the sphere pulsed once more. You are not finished. We will return. Then just like that, they vanished. The ship, the rift, the figures all gone. Only silence remained. Zelia crawled to Aaron's side. You killed a soul-forged beast. Only the High Kings could do that. I'm just a husband, he said with a tired smile. She held his face in both hands. No, you're more, and they know it now. He looked up at the sky. They're not done with us. We need to prepare. From the east, over the mountains, a strange blue light flickered. More was coming, and it would be worse than anything they had seen so far. The blue light in the sky didn't fade. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Soft at first, then stronger, brighter. The colors spread across the clouds, turning them into glowing waves. Even from far away, it felt alive, like it was watching. Aaron and Zelia stood on the ruined field, both breathing hard. Smoke still rose from the remains of the soul-forged beast. The farm was scorched, but standing. For now, Zelia placed a hand on Aaron's arm. I've never seen energy like that. It's not Virelian, it's not human either. Aaron nodded slowly. It's calling something. She looked at him sharply. Calling what? He didn't answer. That night, neither of them slept. Zelia checked the traps, repaired what little defense was left. Aaron sat with the sword in his lap, eyes closed, listening, not with ears, but with something deeper. Just before dawn, something crashed into the far forest. Not a ship, a shape. Tall, thin, glowing blue at the edges. It walked on 2 legs, but didn't move like a person. It glided, floating above the ground. Its face had no mouth, just a single eye, round and wide, blinking slowly. Zelia saw it first. She stepped back inside and whispered, "It's not from this galaxy." Aaron stood, sword ready. Then why is it here? Before Zelia could answer, the creature lifted its hand, and everything around them stopped. The wind froze. The trees stopped swaying. Even fire paused mid-flicker, like the world had been trapped. In glass. Only Aaron and Zelia could move. The creature's voice echoed not in the air, but inside their minds, cold and slow. The sword was never meant to awaken again. Zelia narrowed her eyes. Then why does it? Because time is broken, the voice said. The end comes early. And you, human, are the mistake that starts it. Aaron stepped forward. Say what you mean. The creature tilted its head. You carry a blade that belongs to the first age. You are from the last. That blade chose me, Aaron said. Then the blade is broken too. The eye blinked. And with a sharp sound, time snapped back into motion. Wind roared. Fire crackled. The light flared again in the sky. Then the creature raised both hands and created 3 copies of itself. Each copy moved in a different direction. One toward the mountain, one toward the river, one toward the nearest town. Zelia gasped. It's spreading. Looking for something. No, Aaron said. It's testing how far it can go. He held up the sword and the blade glowed hot. White. The blue sky dimmed slightly, as if the sword resisted whatever was happening. Then a scream echoed in the distance, from the town. Zelia's voice dropped. That's 15 kilometers away, and that thing reached it in seconds. Without a word, they both ran. They rode fast on the old skycycle, an old hoverbike Zelia had hidden for years. It sped through fields, forests, and ruined stone roads. When they reached the town, the sky above it was dark blue, pulsing like a living storm. The people were running. Some were on fire. Others were floating, lifted off the ground by blue light, and frozen in place like statues. Zelia rushed to pull survivors away, screaming for them to get back. Aaron dismounted silently, eyes focused on the center of town. There, the creature stood, watching. It wasn't fighting. It was absorbing. Buildings collapsed as blue energy pulled into its chest. Trees withered. Air shimmered. Aaron stepped forward. Enough. The creature turned and spoke in that same cold voice. You are out of time. The blade delays, but it cannot stop. Aaron raised the sword and charged. This time, the creature responded. It sent out waves of energy. The ground cracked. The sword glowed even brighter, cutting through the blue like lightning through a storm. They clashed in the heart of the town, the energy throwing dust and rubble in all directions. Zelia fought to get civilians to safety. She used her claws, her speed, and her voice to guide them out. And then there was silence again, one final strike. The sword pierced the creature's chest, and it dissolved into light. Gone. The sky cleared. Aaron fell to his knees, breathing hard. Zelia ran to his side. You did it. No, Aaron whispered. That was only one piece. There are more. From the mountain, a blue flare shot into the sky. From the river, another scream echoed. Zelia looked up. It's starting, isn't it? Aaron nodded. They called them the inborn, he said softly. Creatures born at the edge of time, made to clean the galaxy when it grows too wild. Zelia's voice was barely a whisper. Then why are they waking now? Aaron looked at the sword. I think I was supposed to stop them. But I left the war too soon. She took his hand. Then we fight together. No matter what's coming. He gripped her hand tightly, but deep inside, he feared she didn't yet know how far this would go. The wind over the hills turned cold. Dark clouds rolled across the sky again, but this time they didn't bring rain. They brought silence. A deep, heavy silence that wrapped around the land like a cloak. Aaron and Zelia stood on the roof of a ruined building near the edge of the river village. Below them, people moved slowly, hurt, scared, and tired. Fires still burned. The skycycle was broken. Their supplies were nearly gone. Aaron had bandages across his chest, where the creature's energy blast had cut through armor and skin. Zelia had burns on her arm, but she didn't stop moving. She hadn't rested since they left the farm. They're not just attacking, she said softly. They're draining. They feed on life, thought, memory. Aaron nodded. They're inborn. They were never meant to destroy everything, only to clear dead worlds. But this world isn't dead. Not yet, he said, but they think it will be. The sword lay across his knees. It no longer glowed white. It was dim now, like it was sleeping. Or dying. Zelia stared at it. It's fading. I'm using it too fast, Aaron said. The sword draws power from the bond between warrior and world. But I've been away from war too long. I buried the past too deep. She took his hand. Then dig it back up. He looked into her eyes. And for a moment, the wind returned. Then came a sound low and loud. A distant boom. From the mountains, a massive wave of blue light burst into the sky. Dozens of shapes rose from the cliff stall. Thin creatures, each glowing like the one before. Not 3. Not 5. Hundreds. XEL. Yes. Single quotes. S voice cracked. It's a full awakening. They're all here. Then this planet is marked, Aaron said. It's on the list to be cleared. Then unmark it, she said. He stood slow and steady. I'll need time. There's something I didn't tell you. She stepped back. What? He looked at the sword. This blade. It's not just a weapon. It's a key. To a place called the Vault of Names. Inside is a list of every living world. If we can reach it, I can erase this one from the purge. Where's the vault? Far below. Deep under the core of this world. Buried long before humans ever walked here. She narrowed her eyes. Then we go now. No, Aaron said. I go. I'm not leaving you. He placed his hand on her cheek. You have to hold the surface. If the inborn take this land, the vault will collapse. You're the only one strong enough to stop them. I'm not, she said. You are, he whispered. You're the reason I stayed alive. She held him fiercely, as if she could. Stop time with her arms. If you don't come back, I will. He kissed her forehead and turned to go. Beneath the ruined town, hidden by rubble, Aaron found the old shaft lined with black stone, carved by beings older than language. He descended alone, carrying only his sword and his memory. Zelia returned to the town square. She gathered the people. We fight now, she said. Not to win, but to hold. Just hold long enough. Someone shouted from the watchtower. There. Coming. The inborn marched across the hills, blue lights. Thousands of them. The air shook from their steps. Zelia stood tall in her armor. Let them come. At the same time, deep under the earth, Aaron walked into the vault. It was not a room. It was a star beneath the ground. Lines of light filled the blackness. Symbols floated around him, names, places, timelines. He held up the sword. It responded, glowing again. Then came a voice, not one of the inborn, but something older. Who walks with the blade? I am Aaron, born of Earth, chosen of the sword. What do you seek? To erase this world from the cleansing list. You must give something in return. He hesitated. What? Your past. He saw flashes of memory, his old battles, his fallen comrades, the day he gave up war. He gritted his teeth. Take it. The light surged. The sword burned in his hands, but he didn't let go. On the surface, the inborn reached the walls. Zelia gave the order. Now, weapons fired, traps exploded. Shields rose. She fought like flame-fast, fierce without rest. Her claws tore through armor. Her voice guided the defenders. Then, suddenly, the sky above them changed. The blue light vanished. The inborn froze. And one by one, they fell. No sound. No scream. Just silence. The purge was cancelled. Zelia stood breathing hard, her armor cracked, hands bloody. She looked to the sky and prayed. Moments later, light erupted from the mountain. A figure rose from the earth, wrapped in golden light. Aaron. He landed on the edge of the battlefield, holding the sword. But his eyes looked different. Older. Like something inside him had changed forever. The air was quiet again. The inborn were gone. Dust scattered across the battlefield. Their bodies didn't rot or break. They just faded. As if they were never truly alive. People slowly stepped out from shelters and behind walls. Children peeked around corners. Warriors lowered their broken rifles. The silence that followed wasn't fear anymore. It was peace. Zelia stood at the center of the ruined town, armor cracked, one arm held close to her ribs. She looked up toward the glowing light coming from the mountain trail. Then she saw him. Aaron. He walked down the path, sword across his back, face calm. His clothes were torn. His boots were black with dust. But his eyes, they glowed faintly, like the last light of a dying star. She ran to him and stopped a few feet away, afraid to believe it was truly him. "You came back," she whispered. "I promised I would." Aaron said softly. She stepped closer and touched his chest. Her hand trembled. "You look different." "I gave the vault my past," he said. "Everything I was before I met you. All the war. All the pain. Now I only remember what matters." She pressed her forehead to his. "Me? And the life we still have." She held him for a long time, there in the ash and light, as the others watched quietly. No one spoke. No one dared interrupt. After some time, Aaron looked toward the sky. "The vault is sealed now. The sword has returned to sleep." He opened his hand, and the blade slowly faded into light, then vanished. "I don't need it anymore," he said. "It did what it was meant to do," Zelia frowned. "But what if more come? What if peace doesn't last?" Aaron smiled gently. "Then we fight with more than swords. We fight with what we built together. Family, unity, the truth that strength doesn't come from power alone." She looked out over the people, the humans, the half-Virelians, the children that no empire had counted. They were survivors, and they had seen legends rise from the dust. Later that night, a fire was lit in the center of the town. Food was shared, songs were sung, wounds were treated, names were remembered. And at the heart of it all sat Aaron and Zelia, hands joined, wrapped in a simple cloak. No throne, no crown. Just two souls who had chosen each other. As the stars blinked above, Zelia leaned into him. "What are you now?" she asked. He thought for a moment, then said quietly, "Yours." She smiled and closed her eyes. Somewhere far beyond the stars, the cleansing list flickered. A single name was removed. One world spared. Not by empires, not by gods, but by a human husband, who once seemed simple,